Welcome to another video. Just finished this pair of long tights up for an order. Getting ready to pack it up and take it to the post office, so thought I'd go over it real quick and do a review. It's a navy blue, kind of a medium heavyweight spandex. I like this. I like the football material, and I like this stuff. It's got a good weight to it. It's really like durable and strong, holds stitches well, but it's not super heavy. The football material is a little heavier, but sometimes it doesn't come in all colors too. So like this navy blue, they really didn't have in like a heavy football material, but this is like one weight lower, so still worked out good. Got the 3 stripes here on the leg. We did alternating colors of thread, which was actually the customer's idea and I liked. So gold with the white thread, white with the gold. That white with the gold looks really good. I like it. Looks good against the blue. And then I did this up here just because he didn't really specify anything like this. He just said add some details if you want. So I figured that way it goes gold, white all the way down. And then let's flip this. And then here's his logo on the side, which turned out nice. Should sit about mid-thigh, the way it's sitting. But same thing. I did alternating colors of thread, and that turned out really cool. I like the contrast in it. Lines came out really clean. I actually hand cut this one. I cut some of my designs on my Cricut, which is right there. I got a maker. The rotary blade on there is great. This one, the design, it had some little curves, not curves, little edges to it and stuff in that when I put the design in, I could have either gone in and redrew the design or just draw it out and cut it by hand. It was easier to cut by hand. So what I did was I took some heat and bond, which I usually use heat and bond or Wonder Under. Thank you, Owen Travers, for that. To put my designs down. I just find it gives you a good clean edge on some of your cuts. You can cut this out and not have to worry about your edges or corners kind of rolling. It gives it a good stable base. But I put that on that blue mat right there. I gotta clean my mats. And I put it with the adhesive side down, mirrored the logo, so I flipped it in design space on the Cricut software, and I had I used my pen, there's pen tools in there, and had it draw the design on the heat and bond, just like you normally would by hand. And then I went in and I cleaned it up by hand with just a pen. Made the edges sharper, and then I cut it out by hand with just my scissors, and then laid it out. And then I took it to the heat press and lined everything up, made sure it was even, pressed it all down so it stayed good and solid on there. Usually press this on here about 280 degrees on my press for about 15-20 seconds, and that sets it in pretty good. Doesn't go anywhere. Made sure to line these up too. Something that drives me crazy, if these aren't lined up pretty decent, which I see some people do that and they don't line up the lines, like as long as they're on there they don't really care. If they're not met up, which all you gotta do is pin them, take a couple extra seconds and pin them in place, and then you can get where they line up pretty good. It's not gonna be 100%, but that's pretty close. That one's a little shorter right there, but nothing noticeable. And then somebody asked me about this. When I do my drawstrings, I put a drawstring in every pair of tights, usually kick pads unless they tell me not to worry about it, and belts, things like that. I put a drawstring in everything. The guy that got these, he goes, "Oh, do I get a drawstring too?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, why wouldn't you get a drawstring in your tights? That should come with everything." And I've seen some where they don't put a drawstring in them. It's kind of weird to me, but I reinforce mine. I like to take a piece of heavyweight spandex and stitch it all the way around twice, and then I run 2 or 3 lines of stitching down the middle, and I hole punch this instead of cutting it, so that way it's round and it's less chance of it ripping out, and then run it through, and then I started stitching on the top and bottom. Sometimes I'll just do along here, but most of them anymore I'm doing up here too for extra stability, and it keeps the drawstring in place, and it looks better, looks nicer. Takes an extra minute and a half, unless you're changing colors of thread, to run an extra stitch around there. On a sad note, my serger bit the dust. I don't know what's going on with it. So it's keeps jamming up and it keeps eating fabric. I tried testing it on different fabrics and it's just tearing stuff up. I don't know if it's the needles, if it's the blade, if it's just kind of run its course. It's not an expensive serger. I think I got it for like $100. And it's made just for like hobby crafts and general use here and there, but I use it every day, so it's held up good. It might just need serviced. So when I did my seams, which they still turned out clean, I'm happy with them, I stitched the seams on the legs and the crotch twice, and then on the crotch seam down the middle I ran another fold over stitch and top stitched it all the way down, so that way this doesn't pull. That's a little harder to do on the legs, and I don't really like the way it looks either. So everything here was just double stitched with like a stretch stitch, which it's not coming loose anytime soon. It's in there. Shout out Dustin Rays and Owen Travers for that one. So that is that. I'm gonna try to make these videos a little longer and more in depth, and maybe go over pattern making and stuff. The pattern for his, I ran out of craft paper, so I really like this design. I actually took a bigger pattern that I had that I don't need anymore, because the guy lost weight and he only gets stuff every now and then anyway, so I'm gonna have to redo his, and I just sized it down, so there was plenty of paper to do it. This guy's a lot smaller, so I was able to redraw it over the old pattern and trim it down until I can go out later today and get some more craft paper to make my patterns. I'll be going over that in another video, making patterns and how I do that. I saw some people draw their